I have a very special guest joining me to kick off today's show. This is a man that started off his career 1-0 now. He's a 2024 Olympian, goes by the nickname Hard Rock, and that's none other than Jamal Harvey. Jamal, appreciate you taking time to come on today, man.
I appreciate you for having me.
Of course, man. Well, first things first. I know it's been a few weeks removed from it now, but you officially are a pro, made your pro debut, 1-0. How's it feel?
I feel great. Got my pro career started off to a great start. 1-0, 1 KO. Just looking to keep moving forward and get big fights later on down my career.
Now I'm curious because you had a very incredible overall amateur career. We're going to talk about that momentarily, but you talk about the transition. Obviously, those that know boxing know there's quite the difference between amateur styles, the way you approach a fight there as opposed to a pro fight. Would you say the transition went pretty smoothly for yourself? Has it been a little bit difficult, or how was that transition from the amateur ranks to the pro ranks?
I feel like the transition was pretty easy for me. Like
Okay.
my caliber of fighting, I can adjust pretty well to anything.
Hmm.
That's how I feel. And I've been around the pro game, like sparring the pros, sparring champions and the pros too,
Okay.
been in those type of training camps. So already was like pretty adjusted.
Who are some of those guys you were able to spar with leading up to this point where you feel like you were ready for this moment?
For the most part, my main sparring partner helped me get ready was Joe and Short Dog White.
Okay. Now, I also want to ask about this aspect because you go in there round one and you get the knockout. Obviously, it was a pretty quick fight for yourself. But what would you say you learned from it? Is there things that you look back at and you say, okay, I know I still could have done this better. I could have done this better. Was it just kind of just getting the fight underneath your belt, or how did you and what did you kind of take away from that first fight?
It was pretty short. I ain't feel like I said when I was fine. I didn't even get started, get warmed up really.
Hmm.
Hit him with like 2 or 3 combinations, and I guess he realized he wasn't being there no more.
Absolutely. Now, I also am curious about this because you're obviously a very young fighter. You're early 20s, 22 years old, just getting going now. But there's always that balance, not wanting to rush it too quickly and go, fight top guys right away. You want to build yourself up. So, what is the game plan for yourself? Is there like a 1, 2, 3 year game plan, just kind of getting a lot of fights underneath your belt, getting more experience? Or what's the overall game plan for yourself as you look to, the future and preparing yourself now for a possible world championship run in the future?
It just looked like trusting in my team, like I was saying before, and just take care of my part and being a fighter. Make sure I'm in shit, making sure I'm in shape. Sorry, I can hear myself. It's throwing me
Is that
off.
going again? Let me see.
Nah, it's cool though.
All right.
Yeah, but like I was saying, just take care of my responsibility as a fighter. Staying in shape, staying in the gym, and trusting in my team. Make sure my coaches set me up with the right training, right spawn partners. My team MVP. Make sure just when they set up my fights, make sure I'm ready to go. I know they're gonna move me the right way.
All right. So when you talk about when you want to make that jump and you say, I'm ready to start making that top 15 jump, then you're going to start working your way to world champion. Is this something where you see yourself being in that position 18 months from now, 2 years from now, 3 years, shorter than that? Like, what's the overall, in the back of your mind? Obviously, you don't know what's going to happen, but in the back of your mind,
Mhm.
when do you want to be in that position?
I want to be in that position in 3 to 4 years.
Okay. Perfect. I want people to get to know your story as well. We'll pick back up with some future stuff in the end, but I want to go back to the very beginning. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you obviously grew up in Maryland, and the very first sport you grew up playing was football. That's the one you were all going in at. So I have to ask about that then. What was about football that you loved growing up?
I don't know. My father helped me fall in love with it. As a
Mhm.
kid, he just was always throwing a football around, playing man. I just was around football since I was young.
And then I believe it was your football coach that actually introduced you into boxing. So tell us about that story. How did that all happen?
It all happened after football season. He was just telling us, all the kids on the team, yeah, come up to the gym, stay in
Okay.
shape, stay doing something. Because I was only playing football at one point in time. Then I started doing boxing, basketball, just to stay in shape.
At that point in time, prior to actually going to the boxing gym, starting to stay in shape at that point in time, did you expect football to be the one that you wanted to pursue and go all in on, or was there ever something else you were considering in life?
Yeah, I was all in on football.
Okay.
I was all in. But as I got older and I was starting to move with other coach, it was just, and it was little league, so it was like a lot of daddy ball. So
Hmm.
they dad be the coach, and you just don't get looked at. You get looked over. You're a small kid. Everybody was always bigger than me. But if I had my chance, I'm gonna score. It's a funny story because it was one particular team. I had went back to a team and they didn't want to give me the ball
Mm.
when we made the playoff. And it was the last play of the game to a team we had already lost to twice.
Okay.
And they gave me the ball in the last play and I scored and I won. And then the next game, they tried to stop me.
Mm.
But we lost, but I was like, man, that's crazy.
So did you feel like, I know actually quite a few boxers have had on before, talk about the aspect that they love about boxing is that it's all about yourself. There's not a team around you. Obviously, you have your team around your corner, but when you step in that ring, it's all about Jamal. Whatever happens is on your shoulders in that fight. Would you say
Mm-hmm.
that aspect is something that you like about boxing?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. I like that. It's just as long as I know I do what I had to do, I should be victorious.
When you first started boxing, did the love all of a sudden just shift all the way into boxing that moment in time? Did it take time to develop? Or when would you say you actually fell in love with the sport?
No, I was still playing football. So
Okay.
boxing was like something I was just doing on the side. And then my first year in the boxing, I wasn't really that good. I mean, I wasn't bad, but I wasn't traveling, going to like national tournaments. So when I first started doing that, I fell in love with it because I got to travel. And then I won my first national tournament that I ever went to, and I was ranked number one.
Would you say, or what age was that when you were kind of decide, what, I'm going to go all in on boxing? What age was that for yourself?
13.
All right. So that's obviously a little bit later because some guys obviously start when they're really young for yourself. Are you shocked then at how successful you were as an amateur? Because just to read some accolades that you accomplished: 2021 AIBA World Champion, 2023 Pan American Games Gold Medalist, 10-time national champion. You're an Olympian. If I would have told that 13-year-old Jamal that, hey, you're going to accomplish all of these things in your amateur career, what would have went through your mind?
13-year-old me. Changed a lot. Boxing changed me for the better.
Hmm.
But I would thought you just talking.
Okay.
I'm I, even now, like people like, oh yeah, you're gonna go to the limit. You're gonna go to the limit. I used to be like, I just got work to get there. I don't
Hmm.
want to hear it. I want to do it.
All right. Would you say you had confidence that you're capable of accomplishing that, or is it more so just saying, you didn't really know what to expect, you just kind of were going with the flow, and as these things kept happening, you just kind of learned and kind of grew in your confidence then?
Yeah, just going with the flow.
Okay.
Always having a great team around me. My mom and dad, my coach, just trusting in them. They take me to the tournaments, take me to practice.
When would you say you decided and you figured out that, okay, I have the capabilities of being a very good amateur, possibly even going pro in the future? When did that start to settle in for yourself?
It's still settling in now.
All right.
Um, you got to get better every day. I don't feel like I'm the best boxer, but I do try my hardest when I'm in the ring.
Mm.
But every day I'm trying to prove myself. I'm trying to prove something to myself.
So if I were to ask you that question right now, what are you trying to prove to yourself at this moment in time? How would you answer that?
That I could be the biggest star. I could go forward with this and take over the sport.
All right. Now I want to go into your Olympic run. We rewind a little bit over a year ago now. You end up making the Olympic team. I just want to start off with that point right there because that is something that for any athlete, being a part of the Olympics is one of the biggest dreams. You accomplished that. You're going to be going to Paris for the Olympics. What went through your mind when you heard that?
I got locked in and win it all.
Mm.
Like that was the hardest I ever trained in my life.
As that came upon you and you know that you're going to be an Olympian now, was there any pressure as you went out there? Or how did you handle that from a mental standpoint?
No, it's never no pressure with me.
Okay.
If I win, I mean, I'm in training. I mean, that's the most pressure I'm gonna have. Just making sure that I'm prepared. But
Right.
going out there, actually being in the ring, it's never no pressure because I know I did everything leading up to
Mhm.
prepare me for this moment.
As you were experiencing this, now we'll talk about the actual Olympics and being inside the ring momentarily, but just the overall atmosphere. You get to be a part of the Team USA atmosphere. You're traveling with, some of the greatest athletes in all the world to ever live. As you're experiencing this entire this experience, what would you say is some of your favorite memories just from being in Paris during that time span?
My favorite experience, just walking out. I say walking out in an Olympic, seeing my family faces in the crowd,
Yeah.
hearing the crowd go crazy. That was just a surreal moment. And then leading up to the Olympics, my first fight, I had to fight my longtime rival that I've been fighting since youth. And then
Mm.
I got a comeback victory over him. I was down 3-2 the first two rounds,
Right.
but it was like it flipped, like it was split. Like you need to win 3 out of 5
Hmm.
out of all the rounds combined. So coming coming back from being coming back from I can't do it. coming oh coming back from being behind the first two
Hmm.
rounds and then leaving my all in the ring that third round and then
Hmm.
hearing my name called, man, it felt so great.
When you look back on that experience, what would you say is the biggest lesson that you took away, whether that be from a personal standpoint, becoming a man, being an athlete in the ring, both? What's the biggest lesson you learned from that experience?
Live in a moment is go by so quick. Like
Hmm.
that's a moment you never gonna get back. You just had to be there. You
Right.
just can't get it back. It's in the past now.
All right. So when you talk about the experience, and obviously you didn't get the medal that you obviously wanted to when you went out there, was that something that was difficult for yourself, or how did you overcome that aspect? Because I know that was obviously your dream to become a gold medalist, or at least a
Mm.
medal. How did you deal with that?
I don't even know. Probably still sitting on me today. Not really. I went out there and tried my hardest. I left it all in the ring, so
Hmm.
I just can't be mad. At
Right.
first, I was just a little salty about the decision because I felt like I did everything right that I needed to do to
Hmm.
win. Getting landing clean shots, dropping them with clean shots, and I wasn't getting a nod.
For sure. All right, so I'm curious about this next aspect for yourself because the Olympics wrap up September of 2024. You end up not signing and officially declaring that you can go pro up until just about 8 or 9 weeks ago now. What was
Mm.
going on that year for yourself roughly? Like, what was going through your mind? Were you considering staying in the amateur ranks and possibly going for the 2028 Olympics? Did you have other people you were discussing for pro opportunities, or what was going on in your life during that 1 year span?
I was doing a little bit of both. I was talking to promotional companies, trying to get a right deal. The deals weren't right. A lot of them was trying to lowball me.
Mhm.
Um, I made so much money in the amateurs. I was like, why would I leave the amateurs? I was gonna
Mhm.
be making more money in it that I was making in the amateurs than I was pro. Uh,
Okay.
that took into consideration, and then I wanted to go back and get a medal back, but at the same time, like I said, you just have to live in the moment. I went in there, I did it. And the Olympics is hard. It's 4 years. It's not just that one tournament,
Right.
that 1 year. It's a 4 year process just to prepare yourself going to all these international competitions, gain experience of all your opponents. And I already did it. It was like a mind thing with me. I'm like, I already did it. I just want to go back to the Olympics. I don't want to redo the whole four. I won the worlds. I won the pan. It's like
Mhm.
it wouldn't fulfill me. It wouldn't make me feel good. Only thing that would have made me feel good is the Olympics. And if you're hot not in it, you can't do that.
Right.
Not going out to a tournament feeling like you can give it your all because you don't care about winning a tournament.
All right, so I want to break down a few things you said there. The very first one that caught my eye, my attention was you talked about the payment aspect. I think a lot of people would think and assume that you'd make more in the pro ranks than you would amateur ranks. Take us through that. How does that work overall? And is it now, are you in a better position at this point in time financially? Or how was the comparison between the two aspects?
Um, USA boxer, they take care of you when you're in the Olympics. They house you, feed you. You can save so much money. They give you health care, the best health. You can
Mm,
go to the doctors every day if you want to. So that's great. Um, get to travel. You don't got to pay for no travel. So when you're taking account expenses like that, it was just great because I can get hurt at any time and still be on payroll. Huh? You can pay you on the team. I get hurt
mhm.
in boxing. I get sit down. I'm not making no money.
Okay,
I
good
gotta go to
point.
the hospital. Yeah, I probably just made this much from a fight, but say I got hurt in the fight, a torn uh, rotator cuff, and I gotta go to the hospital. I gotta pay for an MRI. I gotta do that. It's not really making no money, so I'm just
Mhm.
being smart.
You said, okay, so you're kind of going back and forth between possibly staying in the Olympics for 2028 or going pro. When did you officially come to your own personal conclusion and say, you know what, I'm done with the amateurs, I'm going to go pro? When was that?
That was I'm gonna say around April.
Okay.
Around April, I was like, I'm gonna go pro. I was down at the USA Training Center, Olympic Training Center, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I didn't want to be there no more. I was like, I'm about to redo 4 years of my life. I'm not the type of person go dwell, and I feel like that's what I was doing, staying there. I
Mhm.
already was there since I was 16 in high school, going back and forth. And I just didn't want to be there no more. I was ready for a change in life, something more exciting.
All right, so that's an interesting component there as well because I know for a lot of people, like you said, they might want to go back and accomplish these things, but you make that transition and you say, okay, I'm going to go pro. That's around April time for yourself. And then you talk about the aspect there were a lot of people lowballing you. So I want to ask about the promotional aspect because getting the right promotional person is huge for any athlete. Now, for yourself, we know you're MVP, you were Jake Paul, Nikisa, all these different people. What was about MVP and what were some of the lowballing offers you're talking about? Like what other companies were you talking to?
I ain't gonna say that. Uh, might work with them in the future. Now they see.
Right.
Um, I mean, I understand it though. Um, a lot of them wanted me before I lost in the Olympics, and then it all feel like went down. But also, I didn't make a choice right away after the Olympics. Like I was just like clearing my mind, let my body heal up,
Mm.
and yeah, that went to a lot. Like they ain't seen me in a long time, but my my thing with Jake Paul is made the right offer, and then the way he promote, he's a great promoter. I'm
Mhm.
not big on promoting. Like I don't do all the fancy hand pad work on the back or on the hand pads. I don't do all that flashy stuff or make that type of content.
Mhm.
And he do a great job. The team, I mean, Most Valuable Promotions, they do a great job at promoting.
All right, so I like what you said about Jake Paul because I know he's a very controversial figure in boxing right now. I've always had the standpoint of I think he's overall good for boxing. What he's done on the women's side is phenomenal. Obviously, the card he's building is phenomenal. The guys alongside yourself in terms of the prospects, up and coming rising stars, I think what he's doing for boxing is huge. You are now part of him. Obviously, you've signed him most valuable promotions. What makes him special, and how bright is the future of what Jake Paul, Nikisa, and MVP is building right now?
It's very special. Like I said, they breaking world records, and Mike Leonardi a big part of that. I've been
Hmm.
knowing him since the amateurs, and I trusted him a lot. rather than go. Already had like a sense of trust with him.
Okay.
So that was a big part. Like Jake Paul had the MVP had the right people on their team. They have the right people, and I just felt safer signing with them.
If I'm not mistaken, you also had a prior relationship with Jake Paul. I know he was a part of the Olympic training camp and those type of aspects as well. Walk us through that aspect. What was your relationship like with him, and did that factor into the decision at all?
Yeah, I hung around him for about a week. He was a cool dude. Um, Told us a lot about his story,
Mhm.
so you really get to know him a little bit more. And the fact that he even took on going to the training center to even spawn with the top heavyweight in the U.S., doing some technical spawn, and just it made me have a newfound respect for him.
All right, so I asked you in the beginning your game plan, your outline for the future, and your blueprint. How about for MVP? From what you've discussed with them, what do they see for you? What's the future look like for you on from their standpoint?
They say I'm gonna be a star. They just moving me the right way, make sure
Mhm.
I get the right experience. They already started me off with 6 rounds. Probably do that for another year or two. Move up to 8, 10,
All
and
right.
be at there for the championship fights, 12 rounds.
You are 22 years old, super featherweight right now, 130 pounds. Is this the weight class that you see yourself fighting at when the day does come that you're going for world championships? Is this the weight class you see yourself being at, or do you see yourself moving up by that point in time to 135 or even higher?
Yeah, I feel like I see myself moving up to 135.
Okay.
Like I don't know, I'm always grown. I'm a fat boy at heart. I stay eating.
All right. So you feel like when things really start to settle down, I know earlier you said 4 years from now, you feel like you're going to be going for world championships at 135, maybe even 140 then?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Gotcha. Now, how about your return then? Obviously, you fought just a couple months ago now, but when do you want to get back in the ring? Could we see this year, next year? When do you want to get back in there?
This year or next year, I'm just waiting on the call.
All right.
I'm just waiting on the call. Yeah, just staying patient, staying in the gym. Gonna be in the gym right after this interview. Always ready.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I have a couple questions I want to ask you, not necessarily about yourself specifically, but the 130-pound weight class overall. And just to kind of pick your mind, I see what you're at boxing wise within this aspect. One of which is this: there are rumors of the Emmanuel Navarrete fight, whether that's going to be the rematch with Charlie Suarez, or people are wondering could it be a unification Sugar Nunez or Ray Ford. Out of all those options just said right there, which fight would you personally want to see the most? And in that fight that you want to see the most, who do you have winning it?
I would see Navarrete versus Ray Ford
Okay.
because I've had a chance to be around Ray. Cool. I sparred him a couple times. I like his style, and I think he could be one of the next big stars. He well on his way
Yep.
right there. And I feel like you give him a fight like that, Navarrete, and he gonna show the world what he could do.
So you'd pick Ray Ford in that fight then?
Yeah,
I agree. Mm-hmm. The other one is coming up very shortly now. It's been announced. Oshtaki Foster, Stephen Coolboy Fulton. They'll be fighting now. Who do you have winning that fight?
I never really seen them two fight like that.
Okay.
Um, I'm not the biggest box fan, so
Okay.
I'm, yeah, I can't even say. I never really seen them two fight.
So that's interesting then. So for yourself, you'd say you're more so somebody that just locks in on your own personal career. You're not actually more of a fan of boxing as a whole.
Yeah, it take a lot for me to watch. I watch like casual fan stuff, like the big fights, like the pay
Right.
per view ones. Or if you my, I grew up in an amateur situation, and I want to see you do great. Everybody
Right.
in the area.
I also want to ask about this aspect. Growing up in Maryland, when we talk about the DMV at large, obviously it's one of the best places in all the world, in my opinion, in terms of athletes, whether it's basketball, it's football, it's boxing, whatever it might be. What about growing up in the DMV Maryland area really instills that mentality, that ability to become such great athletes? What about it just develops those type of athletes?
I don't know. I think it's the background.
Mm,
The background, all three states, DC, Maryland, Virginia, and I actually started like growing up. I grew up in Southeast DC, moved to Maryland. PG County, Maryland. Like right near each other.
Okay.
I don't know something. That's what you gotta do to make it out. Most times, I'm gonna say I don't even want to talk like on the educational side. I guess you ain't really. It's in the statistics. Forget it. I love my city, but like you don't get the best education from public schools here. So most kids come from like a grimy background from Section 8. They got sports. They got sports to make it out, and that's most time where the kids come from.
All right.
These
And
areas.
and then the other question wanted to ask you was the nickname Hard Rock. How did that nickname come to be? How'd you get that?
I just came out one fight and an announcer said it. He said, "Man, you need a nigga name," and then he just said Hard Rock, and then everybody went with it. Like, okay, go Jamal Hard Rock Harvey.
All right. Well, I've got one final question for you, and it's this question I always like wrapping up every interview with, and it's talking about your legacy. Obviously you're just starting your pro career, but one day, you put down the gloves, move on from boxing. When that day does come, what do you want the legacy of Jamal Harvey to be?
He was a winner. He gave it his all. He was an exciting fighter. Don't care about. Of course, I hate losing. I'm super competitive, but if I do lose, it's gonna be a competitive fight because you gonna have to really win to beat me.
Absolutely. Well, Jamal, I appreciate you for taking time to come on today, man. It's been a blessing and honor having you on the show, and I cannot wait to see what God's got in store for you in the future, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course. You're always welcome on, man. God bless.
Bless.